Thank you, Aishagan, and Aishagan. And I realized I had just made a terrible oversight. Please forgive me while I correct this. I need to turn my transparencies on, so I might die. But I realized I did not put out the translations. So I just turned transparencies on to find. There we go. Okay, let me see where I put that darn thing. I know I put it hovering over the stage. There it is. Please forgive me while I do this, because one of the things I like to do is to make opera accessible to all. And of course, one of the issues that we encounter is that oftentimes for most part of the audience, opera is written in a foreign language. It doesn't matter which language you speak, sometimes it sounds like it's written in a foreign language. And I've already explained why that is, but if you weren't here for the first lesson, it has everything to do with singer formants. So, first of all, if you take a look at the magical sign that just appeared over my stage, that is Greek. If you click on the sign, you will be able to get translations for the crazy utterances that I will be uttering today that are not in English. The reason why sometimes when opera singers sing in English and you don't quite understand what they're saying is because in order to be able to sing, in order to be able to sing over an orchestra, we have to activate the singer formants. And that means we have to modify our vowels, because if we go, I love you, that doesn't really carry. I mean, it sounds loud if you're 5 feet away, but you got to remember, opera auditoriums have never had any amplification for 500 years. So we had to develop a special technique that allowed us to use the power of harmonics. And so instead of I love you, it's I love you. Now, with certain modifications of my lips, you will hear I love you, but what I'm really saying is I love you. And that's how we can get what some opera teachers call the call of the voice, or the shout of the voice, to get those nice money notes. So that's what happens. So let's go ahead and now let's go and visit a proper operetta. How about that? So there is an Austro-Hungarian composer by the name of Franz Lehár, and he was the king of Austro-Hungarian operetta. He is known for a ton of operettas, including The Merry Widow, which I will not sing something from The Merry Widow today. No, I'm lying. I will. But right now I want to sing you something that is very dear to my heart. One of his operettas is called Das Land des Lächelns, the land of smiles. And it's an example of the exception that confirms the rule. You see, as I did mention that most operettas are of a lighter character, and no, not Tom Lehrer, not tonight. There will be a Tom Lehrer concert at some point, but most operettas are light in character, but you also have some that are bittersweet, and Das Land des Lächelns is one of those. And it deals with the travails of Prince Souchong, a Chinese prince who has fallen in love with an European noblewoman. And she has fallen in love with him. Now, the title of the operetta, Das Land des Lächelns, the Land of Smiles, references the Chinese proverb that no matter how hard life gets, you should meet every hardship with a smile. So, what is happening now in this aria that I'm about to sing is Prince Souchong has married this noblewoman, and she has just found out that it is part of the traditions of the imperial court that the prince must marry other wives, that he must keep multiple wives in order to better guarantee an heir. And she's not happy with this, as you can imagine. And Prince Souchong sings this heartbreakingly gorgeous song to her, to tell her that you are the only thing in my heart. You are the only love of my heart. Thine ist, and my heart is all yours alone. Thine ist mein ganzes Herz. And unfortunately for Prince Souchong, things do not work out in the end. The noblewoman leaves, and Prince Souchong is left all right, so Richard Taube, fancy man with a monocle. This man is reported to have had the voice of a god. Absolutely gorgeous tenor voice. And so Franz Lehár liked his voice so much that he wrote aria after aria for him. Oh, no, I think my avatar body is attached to my hand, but in any case. So, pretty much a good chunk of all of the famous tenor arias from his operetta are written for Richard Taube. And it's a very, very high, hi Kenya, a very, very high bar to hit. But without further ado, Prince Souchong's song, Dein ist mein ganzes Herz.
Ganzes Herz, wo du nicht bist, kann ich nicht sein. So wie die Blume wellt, wenn sie nicht küsst, der Sonnenschein. Dein ist mein schönstes Lied, weil es allein aus der Liebe blüht. Sag mir noch einmal, mein einzig Lieb, oh, sag noch einmal, ich hab dich lieb. Wohin ich immer gehe, ich fühle deine Nähe, ich möchte deinen Atem trinken und bitten dir zu Füßen sinken. Mit dir allein, wie wunderbar ist dein leuchtendes Heil. Traumschön und sehnsuchtsbang ist dein Strahlen so wie Musik. Dein ist mein ganzes Herz, wo du nicht bist, kann ich nicht sein. So wie die Blume Welt, wenn sie nicht küsst, der Sonnenschein. Dein ist mein schönstes Lied, weil es allein aus dir Liebe blüht. Sag mir noch einmal mein einzig Lieb, oh sag noch einmal, wie ich hab dich lieb.
All right, so now we're going to listen to another piece by Franz Lehár. This is from perhaps his most famous operetta, Die lustige Witwe, or The Merry Widow. Well, thank you, Justine. So, this is an operetta by Lehár, and the librettist is Victor Leon and Leo Stein, and it's based on a story concerning a rich widow and her countrymen's attempt to keep her money in the principality by finding her the right husband. So, thank you, Sin. So the story goes that Anna Glavari, a very, very famous woman, has recently widowed from a very, very rich man. And there's a concern in the fictitious small kingdom of Pontevedra, or small principality of Pontevedra, because you see, they're almost bankrupt. And they have just realized that if Anna Glavari marries, because again, this is the 19th century, then all of her money is going to go to her husband. And oh my goodness, if she happened to marry a man who was not from Pontevedra, then all of the money would leave the country and they would be destitute. So, in a desperate attempt, the staff of the embassy summons and recruits Prince Danilo to romance Anna Glavari, knowing that they had a history. Unfortunately, the history between them is a little bit acrimonious because you see, Prince Danilo and Anna used to date before Anna married Mr. Glavari. And, well, there's a long history behind it, which boils down to people not saying what they want, expecting the other person to read their mind, and then throwing a hissy fit when they don't. That's Danilo, by the way. He saw that Anna didn't return his affections when she didn't even know that he was in love with her in earnest. Let me sip some water. So, throughout the entire operetta, they kind of play cat and mouse because Anna does indeed still love Prince Danilo. And he kind of realizes this, but there's a problem. Because you see this whole thing that's going on right now of the millions. Danilo realizes that if he were to propose marriage to Anna, then everybody would think that he's only doing it to keep the money in Pontevedra, and he does not want Anna to think that. So, even though he starts returning, the old affections start sparking up again, he doesn't do anything about it. In fact, at times he even gets jealous of Anna. And then at the very end, when Anna faces her many, many suitors, she tells them of a stipulation. Oh yes, it's an Austro-Hungarian telenovela, Winter. She tells her suitors, well, you know, my husband left a clause in his will that if I were to marry, I would lose all of my money. Of course, that brings all of the suitors to a halt, and they go away. And then Prince Danilo says, "At last, Anna, will you marry me?" Which, of course, because now there's no millions in the way. And Anna gratefully accepts and then says the second part of the will that was not stipulated, that she did not mention, that the money would go to the National Bank of Pontevedra. So all of this time, all of this could have been avoided if these two had just talked. So, but a happy ending is a happy ending, and Anna and Danilo dance to the most famous part of the Lustige Viva, the Merry Widow's Waltz.
Lieben, schweigen, flüstern, geigen, hab mich lieb. Wohl die Schritte sagen, bitte, hab mich lieb. Jeder Druck der Hände deutlich mir beschrieb. Ach, klar, ist wahr, du hast mich lieb. Bei jedem Walzer schmied, tanzt auch die Seele mit. Da hilft das Herzen klein, es klopft und pocht, sei mein, sei mein. Und der Mund, er spricht kein Wort, doch dehnt es fort und immer fort. Ich hab dich ja so lieb, ich hab dich lieb. Lieben, schweigen, flüstern, geigen, hab mich lieb. Soll die Schritte sagen, bitte hab mich lieb. Jeder Druck der Hände deutlich mir beschrieb. Er sagt klar, ist wahr, du hast mich.
Hi, Justine. So, now we're going to go to one of my other favorite operetta composers, the one and only Richard Strauss, which is not the same as his dad, Johann Strauss. Other way around, Johann Strauss, which is not the same as Richard Strauss. There's too many Strausses around. It's Strauss. Oh, hi, Mary. So, this is from the opera Die Fledermaus, which in German means the flying mouse, which of course means the bat, which is not a mouse. But, you know, you can't win it all. So, this is, the opera Die Fledermaus is a very, very fun opera. It's all about disguises, mistaken identities, plots, potential infidelity that gets nipped in the bud. And instead of a divorce, people get a quartet. They sing a quartet. There's a Strauss Lauschen de Haus. And what I'm going to sing now is the aria sung in English, so you can get the humor of Prince Orlovsky. Now, Prince Orlovsky is a young prince who hosts a gigantic party in his house, in his gigantic mansion, which is where the action of the operetta takes place. And poor Prince Orlovsky, he's a poor rich boy. You see, he has seen everything, done everything. He's 19 years old and he is bored. Nothing gets him to smile or laugh. Poor boy, right? Well, the action that takes place in Die Fledermaus is actually a plot by one of the characters to make another character seem utterly ridiculous with a gigantic pun, a gigantic joke, in order to make Prince Orlovsky laugh. So, here is Prince Orlovsky telling his guests what the rules of the house are. And remember, Prince Orlovsky is Russian, and he says, the refrain is, we Russians have a motto, chacun a son goût, which is a French motto, which is a bit of a satire, a little of a satirical commentary on the fact that for a lot of cultural a lot of cultural value, the Russian court was copying a lot of the French court in the 18th and 17th centuries. So, now we go to chacun a son goût.
From time to time I entertain, I am the perfect host. My guests drink vodka and champagne and do what they like most. Each house is free to have his fun, my house is freedom whole. In other words, to make a point, it is a free-for-all. You're free to go, you're free to come, you're free to go astray. I want you to enjoy yourself, but don't get in my way. I want you to enjoy yourself, but don't step in my way. And if it does not suit you, that too is up to you. That too is up to you. We Russians have a motto, chacun son goût. We Russians have a motto, chacun son goût. Ah. There's not a sight I have not seen, no place I have not been. There's not a single thing beneath the sun I haven't heard nor seen. There's not a price I cannot pay, no sum I can't afford. But I can never keep at bay the sense of being bored. I do not care for music much, not even Johann Strauss. The operetta I hate most is called Die Fledermaus. The operetta I hate most is called the Fledermaus. And if you don't like it either, you know what you can do. You know what you can do. And if you think that's funny, chacun son goût. But we already have your money, chacun son goût.
And yes, indeed. Hi, Mariner. So, now we're going to go to one of my favorite composers, Jacques Offenbach. So we heard him before at the very beginning of the of tonight's concert. I sang Belle Nuit from the Tales of Hoffmann. Well, now I'm going to sing to you from an actual comic operetta of his, La Belle Hélène. So, let me tell you about this operetta because it's freaking hilarious. You know the history of the War of Troy, as told by Homer, or a poet identified as Homer, as current scholarship. Thank you, Krim. As current scholarship has it. Well, you know that Prince Paris was happening by, etc., all of that. Well, Jacques Offenbach decided to set the War of Troy as a parody, as a satire on the mores of Parisian society. And so, as the operetta opens, we have Prince Paris, who he really wants to marry Helen, but she is, of course, married to, is it Menelaus? King Menelaus? I think it's King Menelaus. But in any case, whereas in the Greek myth, Helen is absolutely glad to go away with Prince Paris, in the operetta, she constantly talks about how she is, in fact, a faithful woman, and you young man, get the frick out of my bedroom. But they keep catching Prince Paris in her bedroom, and so rumors start flapping about to the point that nobody believes that Helen is faithful. And so she finally goes, oh my God, you know what? Okay, fine. I'll run away with you since everybody thinks I'm doing that. So it's a bit of a satire on the power of gossip that can even ruin good reputations. So in this section, though, this is Prince Paris, who is he's telling a story to the priest Calchas, who is the she's 16. Well, I mean, the Greek gods may not care about fidelity, but Greek kings placed a lot of stock on that because of the whole succession thing. But in any case, we have Prince Paris talking to the priest of Aphrodite, Calchas, telling him this story. So Prince Paris says that he was walking along Mount Ida, which is the holy mountain of the gods, as you do, walking across the forest, and he came across 3 goddesses, as you do, and these goddesses were arguing about who was the fairest of them all, as you do. And they saw him and they decided that this mortal man was going to be the judge, the arbiter of who was the fairest, as you do. And of course, each one tries to persuade Prince Paris as to who should be the fairest. And here's the thing. I'm going to tell you this. Why some of this doesn't make any sense. One of the so we have 3 goddesses. The first one is, of course, Hera, also known as Mrs. Zeus, who is unfortunately the goddess of faithful marriage, and you can understand why she is constantly unhappy, because look at who she ended up marrying. And she tells Prince Paris that she deserves to win because she has her pride and a peacock. You tried to figure that out. Aphrodite doesn't say anything. She just keeps mum. And then Athena says that she is the one who should receive the prize, the golden apple, because she is wise, prudent, and chaste, which are virtues that have nothing to do with beauty, and kind of shows you that maybe Athena wasn't quite the goddess of wisdom because she was not wise enough to stay out of a beauty pageant where Aphrodite was entering. I know, brains are hot, but, this is ancient Greece. And Paris is a horny young man, which is why Aphrodite actually promises him that he will marry Helen, the most beautiful woman in the world. But he tells the story differently to kind of appease the priest of Aphrodite. But in any case, here we go. I will sing O mon Ida, which is Prince Paris's aria, and it's a very acrobatic aria, and I love singing it, and I hope I do it right. So, here we go. O mon Ida.
Ô Moïse, toi déesse s'écarreille dans un bois. Elle dit, c'est princesse la plus belle de nous trois. Et Moïse, que c'est dièse pour un joli les garçons. Et Moïse, que c'est dièse on est drôle de façon. Oh, des drôles de façon. Dans ces voies passant, jeune homme, pas jeune homme, frais, c'est beau.
C'est moi.
Sa montagne est une pomme, et vous voyez bien les tableaux. Oh, là est le beau jeune homme, arrêtez-vous. Et veuillez donner la pomme à la plus belle de nous. Et Bohème, que c'est dièse et orangeole les garçons. Et Bohème, que c'est dièse et on est drôle de façon. On est drôle de façon. Dis-je ma réserve, ma vie de ma chasteté. Donne les cris à Minerve, Minerve la mérité. Et voyez que c'est dièse en des drôles de passants. L'autre dit, je ma naissance, mon orgueil et mon paon. Je dis l'emporter, je pense, donnez-la pomme à genoux. Et vous, que c'est dièse, on est drôle de façon pour enjôler le
Garçon.
La troisième, la troisième ne dit
Rien.
Elle prie tout de même, quelqu'un vous m'entendez bien. Et voyez que c'est dièse pour un joli les garçons. Et voyez que c'est dièse on est drôle de façon. On est drôle de façon.
But you know, there's operetta in all languages. In fact, my favorite ones, well, I keep saying that. I say that a lot, don't I? Give me 1 second here. So, is the zarzuela. I will tell you. Zarzuela is, in fact, operetta in Spanish with a very, very strong Spanish turn. And so, I would like to sing to you 2 examples of the Spanish operetta. This is from El Último Romántico, the last of the Romantics. And here, I think his name is Juan Luis. Juan Luis has received a warning from an anonymous lover that he is in danger. Now, because he is a tenor, he reacts in a manner that is 100% typical of tenors. he falls in love with the anonymous woman who sent him the letter. And so he sings this beautiful romanza, trying to figure out who she is. Why is he in love with her? Who she is, and that he can't live without her love, even though he doesn't know who she. It doesn't make any sense. Just roll with it. Why is he not playing? Uh-oh. There we go.
Bella enamorada, continúa que el sueño y un amor dichoso busco para mí. Bella enamorada, eres mi consuelo. Ya sin tu cariño no podré vivir. Noche de amor, noche misteriosa, ven hacia mí, sombra de mujer, suave placer de lo que soñamos. Quiero vivir por volverla a ver, ilusión perdida, quiero recordar de un amor lejano que no volverá. Dama misteriosa, que en la sombra vives, dime ya quién eres y sabrás mi amor. Bella entre las bellas, linda enamorada, tú eres mi tormento, yo tu esclavo soy. Noche de amor, noche misteriosa, ven hacia mí, sombra de mujer, suave placer de lo que soñamos. Quiero vivir por volverla a ver. De amor, noche misteriosa, ven hacia mí, sombra de mujer, ilusión perdida, quiero recordar a un amor lejano que ya no volverá.
Now you can tell a lot of the Spanish influence in there. Here we have another one. No puede ser. It can't be. Or you're just joking. No cap. No puede ser is from La Tabernera del Puerto. And it is, oh, give me 1 second, letra zarzuela. And a guy has just heard some dodgy things about his girlfriend. That she's loose, that she's just not a good girl. But fortunately, he has enough sense to not believe it. Or does he? because he sings this aria about how it just can't be. It just can't be. No, it just can't be. He is in absolute denial. By the way, he's right. Oh my God, the rumors. Yeah, it's telenovela stuff, right? And this is like one of the most macho arias as far as how you sing it. So without further ado, some of you may have heard this one. It's very famous. Placido Domingo sings it all the freaking time. So
no puede ser, esa mujer es buena. No puede ser una mujer malvada. En su mirar, con una luz singular, he visto que esa mujer no es una desventurada. No puede ser una vulgar sirena que envenenó las horas de mi vida. No puede ser porque la vi estar, porque la vi querer, porque la vi llorar. Los ojos que lloran no saben mentir. Las malas mujeres no miran así. Temblando en sus ojos dos lágrimas vi. Y a mí me ilusiona que tiemblen por mí. Que tiemblen por mí. Viva luz de mi ilusión. Piadosa con mi amor, porque no sé fingir, porque no sé callar, porque no sé vivir.
And so yeah, I told you it was super macho. Macho, macho man. Riley. So now, you know, there is operetta in English. And there's many, many kings of operetta and queens of operetta. Victor Herbert. We have Romberg. But Malachi is in the audience. And Malachi would never forgive me if I did not mention, of course, the kings of the Oily Carte, Gilbert and Sullivan. Gilbert and Sullivan wrote a gajillion, billion, trillion operettas, many of which had biting satire aimed at many parts of British society. In fact, one of the most scathing ones doesn't technically feature British society. The Mikado, technically speaking, takes place in the kingdom of Titipu, which it is, to a lot of people, it is unfortunately draped in a Japanese outer garb. But the reason Gilbert and Sullivan did this is because the absolute level of satire in the Mikado is so biting and so acerbic that they kind of had to create a diversion and a kind of plausible clause that they were not, in fact, criticizing British society. No. It's the people of Titipu. It's, you know, people over there. except that, you know, Gilbert and Sullivan were in fact very knowledgeable about Japan. So if they had actually intended to portray Japan, they would have actually used real Japanese names, like Puccini did with Cho-Cho-san, etc. But all of the characters in Mikado are named after baby words. You have Yum Yum, who is the female love interest. You have Nanki Poo, which is the baby word for handkerchief, as the main tenor. Again, all of this is meant to divert away from the fact that Gilbert and Sullivan just basically just read British society for filth in the Mikado. And now there have been recent productions, and of course, the interesting thing is that, of course, the Japanese people who have seen the Mikado don't find it offensive because they can see through the satire. Although recent productions have tried to stay away from the stench of Orientalism, that was unfortunately a thing at that time, and they've set the Mikado in the Harajuku district, which is a much more international and more colorful approach, and of course it gives you an excuse to have absolutely amazing costumes. But from the Mikado, Nankipu, who is pretending to be a minstrel, a wandering minstrel, he is in fact, well, something else altogether, but to know what he is, you will have to learn when you have to watch the Mikado. But here he is. And don't worry, Malachi, the other one is coming.
A wandering minstrel I, a thing of shreds and patches, of ballad songs and snatches, and dreamy lullabies. My catalogue is long through every passion ranging, and to your humours changing. I tune my supple song, I tune my supple song. Are you in sentimental mood? I'll sigh with you. Of maiden's coldness do you brood? I'll do so too. Sorrow, I'll charm your willing ears with songs of lovers' fears, while sympathetic tears my cheeks bedew. Oh, sorrow, sorrow. But if patriotic sentiment is wanted, I've patriotic ballads cut and dry. For whene'er a country's banner may be planted, all other countries' banners stand beside. All warriors in serried ranks assemble, never quail or they conceal it if they do. And I shouldn't be surprised if nations tremble before the mighty troops, the troops of Titipu. There you go, boys. And if you call for a song of the sea, we'll heave the captains round. With a yo-heave call, for the wind is free, her anchors a trip and her sails a lee. Hurrah for the homeward bound! To lay aloft in the howling breeze may tickle a landsman's taste, but the happiest are a sailor's sees when he's down in an inland town with his Nancy on his knee. Yo-ho! And his arms around her waist. Yo-ho! 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 A wandering minstrel, I, a thing of shreds and patches, of ballad songs and snatches, and dreamy lullabies, and dreamy lullaby.
And now to sate Malachi's thirst. Here we have the obligatory rendition of this song. You cannot do Gilbert and Sullivan and not do this song. And this is a patter song. And a patter song is usually served for the comic actors who are not as good at singing, but can be very, very good at humor and very, very quick. Very, very quick delivery. I'm not that good, but Malachi asked for it, and hermanito, here it goes. This is from the Parents of Incense, by the way. I am the very model of a modern Major General. I've information, vegetable and animal and mineral. I know the kings of England and I quote the fights historical from Marathon to Waterloo in order categorical. I'm very well acquainted with matters mathematical. I understand equations both the simple and quadratical. About binomial theorem I'm teeming with a lot of news, with many cheerful facts about the square of the hypotenuse. Now, settle down. I'm very good at integral and differential calculus. I know the scientific names of being and immaculus. In short, in matters vegetable and animal and mineral, I am the very model of a modern Major General. Well, in fact, I know our mythic history, King Arthur and St. Caradoc. I answer how to cross-ex. I have pretty tasteful paradox. I quote in Elegiacs or the crimes of Heliogabalus. In conics I can floor peculiarities parabulous. I can tell undoubted Raphaels from Gerald Downs and Zalvanese. I know the croaking chorus from the frogs of Aristophanes. Then I can hum a fugue of which I've heard the music dinner for, and whistle all the airs from that infernal nonsense pinafore. Most dreadful, terrible operetta. Oh, hush. There can I write a washing bill in Babylonic cuneiform, and I can tell you every detail of Caractacus's uniform. In short, in matters vegetable and animal and mineral, I am the very model of a modern Major General. In fact, when I know what is meant by mamelon and ravelin, when I can tell at sight a Mauser rifle from a javelin, when such affairs as sorties and surprises I'm more wary at, and when I know precisely what is meant by commissariat, when I have learned what progress has been made in modern gunnery, when I know more of tactics than a novice in a nunnery, in short, when I'm a smattering of elemental strategy, you'll say a better Major General has never strategy. Indeed. You can say that again. Oh. For my military knowledge, though I'm plucky and adventurous, has only been brought down to the beginning of the century, but still in matters vegetable and animal and mineral, I am the very model of a modern Major General. Now dance! And now, to close today's concert, and thank you so much for coming. Thank you to Mud and the beautiful Bespoke for hosting me here. I would like to sing my absolute favorite piece from an operetta. This is from The Student Prince by Sigmund Romberg. And it is one of the most gorgeous things ever written for a tenor. With you, The Prince's Serenade.
blossoms on the bough. Nothing is heard but the sound of a bird, filling all the air with dreaming. Could I hear this song forever, calling to my heart anew? Beloved, while I drift along forever, lost in a dream of you. Snow in the breeze lies the echo of my longing, while all around you my dreams of rapture throng. My heart, my joy, my hope, my fear, your heart must tell you that I am near. Lean from above while I pour out my love, for you know to my life you are love. Oh, hear my longing cry. Before I die. Overhead the moon is beaming, white as blossoms on the bough. Nothing is heard but the song of a bird, filling all the air with dreaming. Could my heart but steal its beating, only you can tell it how, beloved. From your window give me greetings. I swear my eternal love.
And that is the serenade, or was the serenade, from The Student Prince by Sigmund Romberg. And I hope you enjoyed today. By the way, if you look to my tip jar, you can join my groups on Discord, in World, and my Subscribe-O-Matic. That way you will know what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, and whom I am doing it with.